Assistant Mayor.
I, as a counselor, never had much experience with contract negotiations. It's just something that wasn't part of my radar screen. So being a counselor now for 3 years obviously has educated me about union contracts. And what I've learned is that, and Mr. Flagar, Attorney Flagar made a reference to it, is that over a 30-year period, all of these various elements have been negotiated: sick time, health insurance, whatever. All of those benefits have been negotiated over a 35-year period. What we've witnessed with this union negotiation that we're going through now is a back and forth procedure where management makes a proposal, the union comes back, it's slightly altered, it comes back to management, it's slightly altered. You can't undo, at least from what I've learned, you can't undo what's been put together over the past 35 years like that. It's got to be gradual. It has to be something that develops over years. And I guess, and we talked about this once, some councilors may remember, I think it was one of our non-publics, that in 1996, when the council did away with the sick day payback, I mean, that must have been monumental. I don't know, no, I don't think any of us were around then, but to take away that benefit was a really big deal, I'm sure, for the unions in Portsmouth. So, and what I like when you look back on that, what I thought was great about it was not for people that were already in the system, it was for the new hires. And that's probably why it passed, because the union just would never have agreed to that. So when I look at these benefits that these unions have, and I'm talking about all 15 unions, I think we need to look at it and make drastic reforms for new hires, for people that are new coming into the system. And they know that that's what their benefit package is going to be. It won't affect the people that are currently in the union, because when they're hired, they know what their retirement's going to be. They know, they plan their whole life based on what these benefits are going to be, and I don't see how we can drastically change it on them. I can't get that process through my mind. So I think, and I've said this to some of the Association of Portsmouth taxpayers who have been communicating with me, and I appreciate all the communication. I believe that your organization really is a benefit to our community, because you give us a voice that otherwise wouldn't be there if you didn't provide it. And you're credible, you're respectful, you do the research, and I truly appreciate all the all the emails, phone calls that I've received. But I think the reforms aren't going to work. It's not going to be negotiated unless we do it in small bits, and unless we do it for new hires only. And I really feel that the next negotiation session, which is actually now only 3 years away, 2014, I think we need to bring it out right at the beginning with all 15 unions. A part of me really believes that it's not fair to start these reforms now when we have 4 or 5 unions left to settle. You know, we have teachers that got 7% raises this past year. It's because that's how the union contract goes with the COLA and the step increases. So, but now we're telling police, well, you can't have your increases. I think we need to start from the very beginning with all the unions, and I think we can do that in 2014. We laid out guidelines, we as a council laid out guidelines to these 15 unions when we started in 2008. I believe, I'd like to see more reform on the part of this contract, but again, Attorney Flagar mentions good faith bargaining. We've gone back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. I think that this is fair. It's not ideal, but I don't know if any union contract would ever be ideal. But it's fair. It addresses the issues that the council laid out 2 years ago. So for that reason, I'm going to vote for it, but I'm really going to push hard for some substantial reform in 2014. For us to pay 80% of health insurance that's in this economy is not probably the most efficient way to operate. And as Councilor Hetmatic, with his strong private sector experience, will tell you that's doesn't exist anywhere in the private sector. So there is really some big issues we need to address. But I think that for this contract, it's a good one. I believe the budget process will. We've talked to our captain, Chief Erland. You know, he told us he could work with this contract. He told us that it's something that he thinks he can reasonably work with his department, work with his officers, work with his patrolmen, work with his entire department. I have faith in him. I trust him. I think he can do that. As the police commission also, I don't mean to give all the attention to the chief. The commission has certainly been obviously very involved in this. I think they can figure it out, and I think we as councilors have to let them manage their department, take this contract, and make it work. So again, I thank everyone for the input. I really respect everyone's opinion. I hope that we can all work together in the upcoming negotiations to make some major reform for our city. And I also think regarding the retirement, Councilor Smith has mentioned an idea that's really interesting. I won't go into it now unless Kent wants, so I don't want to steal his thunder, but it really is a way that we could get out of the state retirement system. It would cost us a little money in the beginning as far as the municipality goes, but it's a way that we could totally get out of the state retirement system, and that's something that we should probably really look at too. So I think there's some creative thinking going on, which is great, and hopefully we can make some major reforms in the future.